What can we make of Doom Eternal's ending? Despite the game's release achieving critical acclaim, questions arise. How does the story expand the lore? And what can we expect going forward? Just the same, what is told in the present may be explained in events past. So with all that said and done, let's discuss Doom Eternal. Before we begin, I'm afraid I'll be spoiling Doom Eternal's plot rotten, so if you haven't played through it yet, I would recommend holding off this video until then. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Through hell on earth, the Slayer encountered both old and new, defeating the three Hell Priests, the Khan Maker, and the Icon of Sin. But throughout the carnage, questions remain. The Slayer himself, in which his own godly abilities came from a source, prompted by an entity known as the Seraphim, and upon granting speed and strength that would match the Slayer's resolve, Samir Maker, the Seraphim, had this to say.
I offer you a gift. Take it. It will give you strength. Help you on your journey.
A phrase not dissimilar to Samuel Hayden's own words.
It's a gift. Take it. It will give you strength, help you on your journey, if you can withstand the power surge.
Equally mysterious, the AI known as Vega holds a fascinating origin. What was once a relatively friendly AI was revealed to be the stolen essence of a deity upon insertion to Urdok's machinery. Vega states,
System acquired. Setting a course for the Earth dimension now.
I can see now. Am I the father, Dr. Hayden?
What are the implications of all this? If Samuel Hayden is the Seraphim, then how was he previously a human? And what of Vega? On the former, there really isn't that much info to go on, other than Samuel being an engineering prodigy and part of an influential family. Not much of his past is shared, but on the latter, when it comes to Vega, fascinating lore arises. So, what are Vega's origins? Well, according to Codex entries, it is stated that Vega is powered by a mix of unrefined Argent plasma, taken directly from the Argent fracture, and UAC technology. While details regarding the development of Vega are a closely guarded secret, it is rumored that Vega's core is powered by a piece of arcane technology found near the Argent fracture. What is this piece of arcane technology? Well, it is stated that the Argent Tower is built atop of the Argent fracture, the same monument that acted as a gateway to hell. So what does that say? To find more answers, we head on over to Vega's core. Upon reaching it, unique symbols are displayed, and during the events of 2016, the Slayer resorted to destroying Vega's core to act as a gateway to hell. And be it an act of mercy or perhaps guilt, he quickly creates a backup of the AI. All the while, Vega, as he was back then, uttered his final words.
The process is complete.
Thank you, Vega.
In hindsight, perhaps the statement was the result of working for the UAC, considering their past actions. But more than that, something interesting is also heard. Upon the opening of the Hell Portal, and this is said, Admittedly at first, nothing more than a garbled mess is heard. But when extracted and reversed, you hear this.
Drink the wine of their soul. Fear and dread will she bring upon them. They shall feel such pain as that set upon the Dark Lord himself. And father shall feel son, and sister shall kill
What does this mean? Who is this referring to? Well, the phrase, "she who drank the wine of their soul, fear and dread will she bring upon them," may reference a prominent figure. The only two that come to mind are either Olivia Pierce and the Khan Maker. The former for her part in the initial demonic invasion, and the latter for a much more specified reason. During the events of Doom Eternal, it is noted that the Khan Maker is harvesting souls, it being a crucial component in the development of Argent energy. In other words, the Khan Maker, in a way, is drinking the wine of their soul. However, the latter portion of the phrase, "they shall feel such pain as that set upon the Dark Lord himself," bears special attention. This unknown Dark Lord is commonly referenced throughout the lore of Doom, with Barons of Hell stated to be his royal guard. It is also noted that the Khan Maker made a deal with the Dark Lord to harvest souls.
This machinery was not made without Hell's knowledge. A deal was struck with the Dark Lord. In return for access to more worlds for Hell to devour, the Makers siphoned energy from the damned. It is an unholy union, and cannot stand any longer.
Considering this phrase was uttered in Vega's core, is there any connection with this Dark Lord? To answer that, let's discuss Vega's roots as Urdok's father. According to Codex entries, it is stated that the father, or specifically his essence, acted as a supreme guiding force for the Makers, partaking in a 10,000-year cycle to choose a new Khan Maker. But with the father's essence stolen by the Seraphim, the cycle was broken, causing the current Khan Maker to rule indefinitely. Which leads us to the plot of Doom Eternal, in which the Slayer kills the Khan Maker. Upon achieving this, the Slayer hears a voice.
We must leave now.
Some theorize that this voice is actually Vega, this time becoming the father once more. But what more information is there? Well, throughout the Slayer's journey on Urdok, these symbols are prominently displayed. Similarly, the crest found back on Vega's core bears a bit of a resemblance. Admittedly, the latter looks a bit more demonic. In fact, similar variants of the crest strike further similarities to these demonic emblems. Is there some sort of a connection here? Well, the symbol itself appears to represent the father, considering the same icon is marked on Vega's USB port or another. But what I find particularly interesting is that the Khan Maker, with her armor stripped, her true self is revealed, taking on more of a demonic appearance. So what does that say? Well, it was noted that the Khan Maker sought to produce Argent energy to avoid degradation, as noted in the story of the Makers. It seems that the Makers, though exceptionally long-lived, eventually suffer some form of biological or mental degradation, at which point they undergo a process known as a transfiguration, wherein they allow a voluntary death and resurrection somehow tied to the Father. This process may have been complicated or damaged in the recent past. In other words, perhaps the Khan Maker sought the production of Argent energy to avoid this degradation, with Urdok's possible demonic ties in mind. Perhaps the Khan Maker wanted to avoid degenerating into a demon of some sort, which leads us to the latter phrase of the prophecy. And father shall fear son, and sister shall kill brother, and mother will eat her vision, for she will bring madness upon them. Considering the previously discussed symbols along with the Khan Maker's own possible ties with Hell, what does that say for their previous servants, the Night Sentinels, or in particular, the demonic Crucible? Well, within both the Doom Eternal art book along with in-game depictions, Night Sentinels wielding the demonic Crucible is seen. Similarly, depictions of the same Crucible are all over the place. So what does this indicate? Well, perhaps the symbol of both the Night Sentinels and the Slayer can shed a few answers. Take this next bit of info with a grain of salt, but when a fan showed off a Mark of the Slayer tattoo to game director Hugo Martin, and this is what he had to say. By the way, not too many people know this, but the Slayer's mark is a symbol of a sword crucible, stabbing down into flames hell. If this is true, what does this mean regarding the origins of the crucible? After all, it is alluded that the demonic crucible originally belonged to a demon, presumably this unknown Dark Lord, whose depictions are found all throughout Doom Eternal. While perhaps Codex entries may shed a few answers. In regards to the Slayer defeating the Titan, the story of the Sentinel states, he took the crucible in his hand, and wraith fire leapt forth from the blade. In other words, the red blade that emits from the crucible may be associated with the power of the wraiths. According to the lore, one of the earliest events that transpire is the appearance of the wraiths, otherwise known as the Firstborn. With this in mind, is there any connection between the Dark Lord and the wraiths? To answer that, let's look at body positions. Notice anything familiar here? While classical Night Sentinel statues take on the very same body position as the depiction of this Dark Lord, standing prominently while holding down a blade to the ground. What does this mean? Does this somehow reference the Sentinel symbol of the crucible blade piercing down on hell? And if this entity is this so-called Dark Lord, then why does he hold a sword powered by the wraiths? Is it possible that this entity may be somehow associated with them, and by proxy, the Night Sentinels themselves? I'm afraid not much else is known about this Dark Lord. Could he have been a forefather of the Night Sentinels that decided to rule over hell? Or perhaps an ancient demon who commanded the wraiths? Let me know what you think. However, there is one special subject we should account for, the Barons of Hell, in which the 2016 entry states, tablets retrieved from the Great Step in the UAC Automated Survey of 2143 suggest that the Barons of Hell are the current royal guard of the unknown Dark Lord of the Fourth Age. While the nature of this entity is unknown, it must be presumed that as the royal guard's power has significantly increased, so too has the power of their master. Within the events of Doom Eternal, Barons of Hell take on a new form. As stated in Eternal's entries, the Fireborn Barons have evolved. The descendant clan of the Baron Hell breed, and are indigenous to the caustic scorched hellscapes bordering the burning abyss. The Fireborn Barons have evolved in this environment, sustaining themselves on the remnants of the damned, growing obsidian carapaces and in time, becoming infused with the very incendiary matter of hell itself. With both entries in mind, does this evolution of the Barons of Hell cite the rise of this unknown Dark Lord? Or perhaps this evolution was caused without him? Let me know what you think. But this raises a question regarding hell. Who rules it? Well, a fascinating piece of info is told by the art book, which states, for all of eternity, hell has been ruled by an ancient order of evil, 6 sovereign chapters of the 6 eldest demon gods, descendants of the 6 unholy bloodlines, born from the primordial black heart. For an eternity, the Nameless One has brought treachery, torment, and war to the outer worlds, driven by an insatiable hunger to secure its dominion over the souls of the living. Many worlds have fallen to hell, each now bound to ruin, connected by pathways of darkness transcending space and time. In other words, it appears as though 6 archdemons descended from the 6 bloodlines acts as lieutenants in the governing of hell, in which they all owe allegiance to this Dark Lord, the Nameless One. As further clarified in the art book describing hell royalty, the immortal archdemons claiming dominion over the innermost circles of hell rule as lieutenants of the Dark Lord. Though their power is near absolute, the archdemons answer without question to the Nameless One, infernal master and lord of hell, whose dominion is formless and ultimate. With this all being said and done, what more information is there? Well, upon looking at demon iconography, a crest bearing 6 demonic emblems is displayed. Could this be referring to the 6 archdemons? Perhaps, perhaps not. On this topic, I see it very likely that we will learn much more about hell in the future to come. But back to the prophecy. And father shall fear son, and sister shall kill brother, and mother will eat her vision, for she will bring madness upon them. Considering this augury was told in Vega's core, is it possible by the term father, the prophecy was actually referring to Vega, also known as Urdok's father? And if that's the case, what does this augury mean by the rest of the family? Well, it notes that father shall fear son. With this context in mind, perhaps this references the voices heard upon the death of the Khan Maker. Assuming the voice is Vega, perhaps the son references the Slayer, that the father was dismayed by the death of the Khan Maker. Of course, this augury may reference another concept entirely. The phrase father shall fear son may allude to a creator fearing his creation. With this in mind, the father is noted to be the creator of the Makers, and since the Slayer practically nuked Urdok at the end of Doom Eternal, the only Makers left presumably are the surviving Maker Angels and Samuel Hayden. Could the Seraphim be the referenced son? Obviously, this prophecy can take on many interpretations. Let me know what you think. Moving on with the prophecy, and sister shall kill brother. What does this phrase mean? Assuming the brother and the son are one and the same. Additionally, with the sister being the daughter or creation of the father, where does that leave us? Well, honestly, this is where I draw a bit of a blank. Could the sister reference Olivia Pierce, Dr. Elena, the Sister Resurrector, or perhaps a yet-to-be-revealed character? Let me know what you think. But this leads us to the final portions of the prophecy. And mother will eat her vision, for she will bring madness upon them. What does mother mean? Well, obviously the Khan Maker comes to mind. Throughout Codex entries, she is commonly referred to as the Mother God, but she is killed during the events of Doom Eternal. However, during the Slayer's journey to the Maker homeworld, he encounters another Khan Maker body. Could it be a remnant of the Maker's cycle, in which a new Khan Maker is chosen by the Father? Well, it could very well be. With this in mind, since Vega presumably has reverted back into the Father at the end of Doom Eternal, will he choose a new Khan Maker? Will it don this new body? And if so, will this mother figure eat her vision? For she will bring madness upon them. And what does that mean exactly? From the context given, it's definitely not a positive one. But with all this talk regarding mothers, an idea is raised. When Doom 2016 was released, its structure was influenced from the first Doom, with both of them fighting off a demonic invasion on Mars, and each culminating with a fight against a spider mastermind. Similarly, with Doom Eternal, influence from Doom 2 is made, and both sport a Hell on Earth plotline, with each ending with the Icon of Sin boss fight. See what I'm getting at here? If Doom Eternal were to get a sequel, would that game take inspiration from Doom 64? The same installment with a heavy focus in Hell, ending with a fight against the Mother Demon, with the prophecy stating, "And father shall fear son, and sister shall kill brother, and mother will eat her vision, for she will bring madness upon them." Considering that the father symbol may have had demonic roots, and the fact that the Khan Maker's body takes on a demonic appearance, is it possible by mother was the augury referring to a mother demon? Will the next Doom game have a heavy focus in Hell? Will we learn the origins of the demonic crucible, or this Dark Lord? And will we fight against the mother demon? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Despite all the speculation, the portion of the prophecy that states, "They shall feel such pain as that set upon the Dark Lord himself," bears special attention. If this Dark Lord somehow created Hell, then what does the augury mean by, "They shall feel such pain as that set upon the Dark Lord himself"? Did he create Hell for a reason? Perhaps something to do with his past? Does he have a connection or history with the Father, which is why he made a deal with the Khan Maker? Well, ultimately it's all speculation at this point, but feel free to let me know your thoughts. Indeed, many questions persist, but at any rate, The channel reached 4,000 subscribers. We have really come a long way, haven't we? As a bit of a thank you, I wanted to really dig deep into the lore. Hoped you took something out of it. Special thanks goes to all of our Patreon supporters. Honestly guys, your support means the world to me. If you want to see Night Owl continue on, donating as little as $1 over on Patreon will honestly go a long way. If not, liking and commenting also helps a great deal. Which reminds me, how is everyone enjoying Doom Eternal? Just came out of doing an Ultra Nightmare run. In the future, I might do some streams with a few buds while going loose at it. Let me know if you would like to see that. But it is about that time again. Regardless of what happens, have a wonderful rest of the day or night, and have a damn good one.